What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, we're talking #ReleaseTheSnydercut. Yes, guys, that is coming back in full force, and for those of you who don't know what the Snyder Cut is, it's actually referring to the original vision and version of the Justice League film, which was released just about 2 years ago, actually this month, 2 years ago. And funny enough, the thing about it is that Justice League has been marred with having the reputation of being meddled with and having extensive reshoots to the point where the film was barely recognizable and so inconsistent and tonally so up and down that it really led to its downfall and the fact that it became a box office bomb in the long run. Warner Brothers interfered with the film and it didn't work out so well. I wish I could say I was surprised. But let's think about this. The studio has done things like this, and not just them, to be fair. Other studios have done this with a multitude of different films across the decades. And this was a case in point where they zagged when they shouldn't have because they believed a bunch of audience members who disliked the previous two iterations in Zack Snyder's trilogy, Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. They decided to actually reshoot some things, bring in a director when they saw the opportunity to, which was Zack leaving because of a family emergency, and try and make it more like the MCU. Throw a little bit of humor and all this and that, and then that'll just make everything great, right? No. We get a very mediocre film. We get a film that some people like, some people hate, and then a majority of people like myself were like, could have been better. And the thing about this mythical cut is that over the past couple years, there's been a clamoring for it, and there's even been a Kickstarter at one point to try and get the funding so that it can be released, finished up on special effects and all that stuff. And the thing is that this is having a big resurgence because stars Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot have even come out, along with the director Zack Snyder himself, for the release of the actual Snyder Cut that he actually says that he has. And the thing is a few months earlier, Jason Momoa even said on his social media that he's seen the Snyder Cut and that it is amazing. So everyone keeps on talking about how this is really a work print. It's something that is uncompleted as far as special effects goes, and that the audio is very raw, not cleaned up, and not professionally done. This may very well be the case, but between all of the clips and all of the footage, all the photographs and behind the scenes things that have been released not only by Zack Snyder, but also from the trailers and from the clips that have surfaced and leaked online, I really feel like we had a more complete version of the Snyder Cut than a lot of people will give credit for. There's a rumor swelling that they're going to release this on HBO Max, which will be the upcoming movie streaming service for HBO and I believe Cinemax. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But the thing is that if this is true, this will be unprecedented and awesome. Now, personally, I don't think that they'd even bother releasing it in theaters right off the bat. And the reason why is because they've already spent so much on Warner Brothers, that is, has spent so much on the Justice League film itself. They went through all the reshoots, they went through all this trouble, and it didn't even make even, or break even, that is. So the thing is that if you can finish the Snyder Cut, present it, finish up all the effects, and not have to spend all the money on the marketing. I mean, the marketing's already been done because the buzz is there for them. The buzz has already been done because of the #ReleaseTheSnydercut. So if they were to do that, they really don't need to do a lot of marketing in the way of that, except for the fact that on the HBO Max part, they're going to say that you will get to see the fully realized vision of Zack Snyder as it was intended to see, which would be great for people like myself who enjoyed Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, which is the complete original version of the film, and Man of Steel, which I actually just rewatched the other day, and I still adore it. Going back to the release of the Snyder Cut, I really would prefer if it was on Blu-ray, though. You can have it on the streaming service, but please, I would love to see it on Blu-ray. Home release, not a lot of things need to go into it, maybe a little bit of special features in here and there, but the big thing about it is, if that happens and they're a success, release it theatrically, guys. I mean, this is an unprecedented move here, but in the grand scheme of things, like I said, this is not the first time that studios have interfered with this, and namely Warner Brothers. Going all the way back to the original Superman films, Superman 2 was actually being filmed back-to-back with the original first Superman film. And the thing of it is that Richard Donner, the original director, was fired midway through production, mostly because of the Salkinds who were producing the film. But the thing is that he was fired and the film was basically reshot, basically 3/4 of it, and it resembled nothing of what he had earlier. And decades later, with the addition of Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, through test footage, through deleted scenes, through retooled scenes, and updated and reworked actually scenes from negatives that they had where there was incomplete special effects. He actually made his Richard Donner Superman cut. Now, the main difference is, first, Superman 2 was still a success despite him not being associated with the theatrical release, and two, that this was decades later, and obviously I'm going to assume that there was less to work with or less money needed to be put into the project to actually get it off the ground than, say, this film, Justice League, the Snyder Cut, because of the sheer amount of impractical or CGI effects that will be needed to be put into it. But the thing is that I really like seeing that they want, and when I say they I mean the fans and some of the cast members and stuff, want to see the original vision, because even they know that Warner Brothers shouldn't have come in, shouldn't have meddled with all this stuff, and all this stuff kind of transpired and went into a tailspin where they decided to question the integrity of the filmmakers, all because they wanted to get a cash-in that was comparable to the MCU. Sure, do a ensemble film, do a team-up film, do whatever you want, or a versus film, whatever it is, but don't try and be like Marvel. And now, here we are, 2 years later, and we have the Joker film, rated R, Joaquin Phoenix starring in a Todd Phillips directed film where they didn't compromise on his vision. They let him and Joaquin do what they wanted to do, and it is the highest grossing rated R film of all time, and there's no more proof than you need than to say, look at this film. You let him do what he wanted to do. You let the filmmakers do what they set out to do, and it was a success. Whether you agree or not that Zack Snyder is a great filmmaker or a great storyteller is not a factor here. The big factor is they wronged him, and especially with how much money he's made them in the past with all the films that he's directed, whether we're talking about 300, Watchmen, or any of his films that he's done for Warner Brothers. And of course, they screwed him over, so the least that they could do is make amends now, fix everything up, give him the chance to release the vision that he had envisioned from the get-go, and this way we can have a completed trilogy that is actually intact. And then we can say, is this garbage? Is this great? Or is it just mediocre? Honestly, I don't see any problem with them releasing the Snyder Cut. If it gets finished, get the special effects and everything cleaned up and released professionally. It's unprecedented, sure, but given that everything that's transpired around this kind of production, it's the least that they could do. And honestly, if we got that, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more people actually respected and saw what he was going for. And at that point, if there was some type of follow-up and actually continuation that they were actually willing to give Zack Snyder in the future. But anyway, guys, that's all that I have to say about releasing the Snyder Cut. Hopefully they release it soon, that way we don't have to keep on talking about this. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below what you think about it. And guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell button. But anyway, guys, as always, I'm Jay, and until next time, take care. Bye.